always perceived as the best combination to have the Braum alongside the Jhin, because it's kind of difficult for you to get the passive off with your fixed attack speed. But it is actually a rather good combo. Once you do get this stun off, you will actually get the follow-up W. You'll be able to actually guard him while he's using his ultimate. So it's not as bad as people would think.
We'll see how that bot lane goes for Mash and Gate. As now it's either mid or top for Phoenix1. This is going to decide where the Ryze ends up going. Pirean instrumental in game 2 and in most of the wins. But Cassiopeia locked in.
Cassiopeia top? No.
Yeah, oh boy. Oh boy, against a Trundle.
Yeah.
Ooh, that would be tricky. But
It's probably Ryze top and Cassiopeia mid. It could be either way. I would actually not be surprised if it was a Cassiopeia top, but you do want her to have Ghost more than you want Ryze to have Ghost, so putting her in the mid lane, and the fact that Pirean has played it multiple times now, I trust him to be the Cassiopeia guy as opposed to Zig, but they do have 10 more seconds to do so.
yeah, getting those scaling champions once again locked in for Phoenix1. This time, they might be taking a bit more of a defensive role with that disengaged Zyra flanking Hecarim, petrifying gaze on that Cassiopeia. Whereas NRG, on the other hand, looking to redeem themselves after having an advantage for nearly 54 minutes of a 54-minute and 30-second game.
That game is a game that NRG, they just want to win this series. They want to win this game and erase what just happened there. And then for P1, they want that game 1 not matter for them and just have that series win.
Yeah, this series win would vindicate a lot of the criticism that has been thrown towards them. So we'll see if they can pull it together one last time today. Get the vote out on Twitter. Support the team of your choice. Use hashtag NRG win or hashtag P1 win. Let us know who you think as we get into game for game number 3 between NRG and Phoenix1. The teams and the players are ready, and the audience is silent. As we load on in, there it is.
Showed you.
Yeah. And we load onto the rift. There's the silent. The tension is palpable.
The reverse psychology.
Yeah. I think that's what Phoenix1 tried last game.
Oh,
We've got the late game composition, but we're going to be defensive. We're not going to do anything.
Oh, we're so weak.
We're so defenseless, down 10,000 gold. You've taken our inhib.
Anyway, NRG looks like they're going to go for an invade here. They do have Braum, so highly recommend going for it.
Oh, clear the ward.
They all attack, move into the bush, and GBM
10 gold on GBM.
pinging the ward placements as well. And this gets kind of tricky because both Gate and Mash can no longer return to the safe side of the jungle for them. So kind of had to back in that bush. And they have almost no coverage, so it's a little scary.
Volatile Spiderling from Santorin sees that they aren't under the turret, though they will be able to make it back in time.
Yeah, they know the Zyro's down here, though, because, hey, look, there's a bunch of seeds.
Surprise!
Yep.
And now with Zig on the top side of the map, seems as though Phoenix1 are going to be committed to the duo lane bottom. We saw a lane swap in game 1, upside down lanes in game 2. Seems like we might see another lane swap in this game 3 as NRG send their duo of OQ and Kiwi top.
Yep. Rule of thumb, always swap against a Zyra. Make sure that you aren't against her because she can honestly just kind of RNG the lane as well with seed placement.
Taking a look at the masteries, Storm Raider Surge for both Zig and GBM.
Yeah, Storm Raider Surge for Ryze. When you aren't mid and have the access to Ghost, it's a great mastery to have. And then the Storm Raider Surge for GBM.
Oh, Pirean with a good dodge.
And he doesn't even have boots.
Yep.
And he never will.
Makes it so hard to read. You can't see where he's going to step.
That's true. It's kind of this makes it kind of tricky like that.
Little wily.
Anyway.
Oh, good damage trade for GBM.
Yeah, and then he gets the Storm Raider Surge. He gets to run away. He will pretty much always have Storm Raider Surge on during a fight because he'll blow ultimate.
Pirean answers back.
Hey, Papa, hold up. Timeout, guys.
GBM says, "Hold on, it wasn't serious."
I'm getting wrecked. 1 second, timeout.
Yeah, Pirean did have a rather good lane in game number 2. He looks very confident over the course of the laning phase, opening up a 20, 25, even 30 CS lead against GBM's Ryze. So we'll see if he can do something similar in this next set. But 2.5 minutes in, and Phoenix1 are looking for that series win. Again, this is all about vindication for them. The fact that they've been through 3 weeks of non-stop losses with the occasional moral win. Taking a series here would be huge.
Yeah, it definitely boosts their morale, and they'd be able to maybe surge up the standings. But I mean, game 2 was not incredibly convincing. And honestly, if you're NRG, you're rather worried, because if you are the team that gives Phoenix1 their first series, like, that does not bode well for the rest of your season. That makes it, honestly, really a lot of pressure there.
Yeah.
Like, that's going to be kind of target for criticism there. And, like, just looking at Quas on his player cam, he's been performing really well, and he looks slightly frustrated right now.
So very
Not
difficult.
so frustrated.
Zig, you can see, getting nice and comfy.
Sleeps with his eyes open.
He's in this for the long haul. He knows he's got Ryze, mid lane Cassiopeia. He's got all the time in the world, whereas Inori, on the other hand, maybe looking a bit drowsy after that first performance.
Yeah, need to be able to stay relaxed, but alert.
Yes. To be fair, Phoenix1
Wake up.
Played remarkably, given the old nod, they played remarkably calm and cool, despite the fact that they were down for so long. They were able to hold on and wait it out.
Yeah, and they never had a fight where they lost and then the game was just done. They always got just a little bit back. There was that fight where they got 2 inhibbed. Maybe there could have been more taken from NRG. Like, that's going to be a fight that they'll have to go back and look at and say, okay, how much could we have actually gotten off of this? How much could we have forced the issue? And looks like we're getting back in.
Yeah, some very optimistic fans. We're going to look at Kiwi first before we get back in.
Yeah, but then we're going to look at, some damage on GBM.
Yeah, so GBM is going to take the worst of this trade.
Yeah, the Deathfire Touch and Pirean walking up. Pirean does have another potion available to him as well, so.
Again, this is the lane swap, so both of the duos are rushing down those tier 1 turrets as quickly as possible.
Yeah, it's also the lane swap, so how your mid laner performs becomes incredibly important. And all right, that's all right. That's pretty cool because it's behind the Trundle and Elise. Yeah, I'm like how? But still,
by the power of
they put some work into that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but looking like they're timed pretty similarly.
Well, that top one though, they have to wait another wave.
Yeah, NRG, they'll be able to get it though in just a few seconds. Should be timed rather similarly with Phoenix1. We'll see if they do decide to gift over full go. Oh, Q! Oh gosh, he burned his heel.
Yep.
To get away from that turret hit.
Yep. Almost died. Had to burn his heel. He would have been dead.
Yes.
He would have been dead. And I mean, honestly, maybe it would have. He was just gonna back anyway. So
faster than recalling.
Is it that early?
As long as it's under 8 seconds.
It's possible. Well, I mean, then he doesn't have to walk away from the turret aggro as well. So
yeah. Well, and he takes an additional hit for the minions.
Boom.
It's all the minor points.
It may actually be if you don't have to walk away from turret aggro, but blows his heel. May come back to bite them. We'll see. Actually, very surprised that Zig is not trying to get more of this wave before he backs.
Yeah.
Because that's the advantage you get. When you get to kill the turret a little bit faster, which is what happened with P1, you should be able to reap the rewards of getting a couple more minions. And Quas is actually the one who comes out on top. Ever so slightly.
Yeah, the double turret now being taken by both teams.
All right, and then that mini-map in the bottom left corner.
Yeah.
Oh, the technology, it's there.
We have the technology.
That is awesome.
We can rebuild it.
Shout out to JD, apparently.
Yeah.
JD Woo.
Setting that up, but Santorin continuing to group and play with his side of the map.
Oh, also shout out to everybody else who may have worked on this. I just know that he's the one who said thank you.
Zig actually teleporting to catch up with his team a little bit faster.
Yep. Teleport over. Looking at the cull as well for OQ. Cull on Jhin, not that great because you don't make too much use of the health on hit. Right? Fixed attack speed really doesn't help you, but he's looking for that gold payout later, and in lane swaps, it is an item that you will see come through a bunch of times. But Mash didn't get one, so that could be an advantage for NRG later down the line. And NRG a little bit slow again.
Oh no!
And OQ's gonna take it out.
They're taking a lot of turret hits.
Kiwikid.
3 turret hits.
Kiwikid was executed by a turret before. Let's not have it happen again.
He knows firsthand the horror of those early turrets.
Oh my
the recall.
god!
Can they not take it in time?
No, they don't get to take it!
Here comes Mash and Gate. All the turrets. That's 38 health.
They're trying to get it. 38. Oh, boy.
Oh, man. Tragedy strikes. Minor, actually huge mis-execution.
That might be one where I say you die.
Oh, and go for it.
You take the extra shots to die.
Well, they do reduce damage. It's still before 7 minutes. I don't even think a single auto attack could finish it off right now.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, if they had all stayed on it.
Oh.
You can take 2, take another.
It's faster than recalling.
Who knows? Who knows? But still, we're talking about getting killed by turrets.
Yeah, 1,000 gold now for Phoenix1, though that turret is going to go down eventually, if someone so much as looks at it correctly. NRG are going to even it right back up. Meanwhile, Zig is going to try catching these waves on the top side. Santorin gets a couple of deep wards just to scare Zig away from this potential minion wave. While Pirean continues to show that he's very competent, very strong on this Cassiopeia mid. Currently 1 health potion up.
I don't believe they saw Inori pass by mid. He's level 6. And there they go. Okay, so they got to assume that he's over here. Come down.
Yeah, Inori going to steal away the red buff, as you can see. Getting some deep vision onto NRG's side of the map as well. They might try to look for this tier 2.
Yeah, level advantage here as well, and Gate on the Zyra, you get to basically force your will onto the enemy team. You have the level 6 on your Hecarim. 3-on-3. Yeah, a lot of turret damage comes through.
Yeah, they chunk it down to half, and a lot of these minions miss. Mash.
It's a feature.
That's like a super wave dashing.
Oh, man.
In Smash. Definitely deliberate.
Isn't it great that things like that end up becoming normal strategy?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, he could have won that fight easy. He just needed to teleport through the minion wave.
Yeah.
Slide through into the backline. All right, so Phoenix1 now going to be taking the Infernal Drake.
L-cancel your E. Yeah. So they're going to take it. It's an Infernal one. Everybody likes the way that this one feels. Suck it, Cloud Drake.
Hey, Cloud Drake is a wonderful person.
Man. It's a wonderful Drake.
Yeah. But that's first Infernal Drake, 1,000 gold in favor of Phoenix1. NRG going to trade on the other side, though, for an early Rift Herald. Having a bit of difficulty burning through because of the Spiderlings and the targeting AI on that Rift Herald, so...
Yeah, it actually shouldn't be that bad because the Spiderlings can honestly hit it in the back for you. So if you take the damage, the Spiderlings will actually pop it in the back for you. So Elise is one of the people who used to be able to solo it.
Yeah.
And now you can still kind of, but it takes you basically level 11 to do so.
Yeah.
But kind of far behind it.
Significantly more difficult to do. As you were just about to say, I'm sure Santorin is down quite a bit in CS.
Yeah, quite a bit behind in CS and the level behind now. Well, Inori's going to be about a whole level up over Santorin, especially since he's backing now. And I like that Inori went for the Ionian Boots of Lucidity very early on. The Ghost cooldown sitting at 135 seconds, so 2 minutes 15 seconds. A little bit under the cooldown of a flash and a half.
You can go twice in the duration of a flash.
And still have 30 seconds.
Mash continuing to catch minions on the bottom side. And OQ actually heads towards the mid lane because of the freeze that Phoenix1 have set up in the bottom. OQ has got the curtain call.
I mean, if he can land some of those bullets for the W.
Quick flash from Pirean means he's able to get away from the captive audience.
Yeah. It's actually the Deadly Flourish. I make that mistake all the time.
Deadly Flourish.
There was a whole bunch of things about, why are the names different?
Yes.
It's like, the E is like, oh, maybe that should be captive audience. Or the W should be, because it actually roots.
Because you're captivated.
And then there's a flourish when the trap explodes. So, but they're opposites.
Yep.
Hit by the Deadly Flourish!
Yeah, it just hits the... It follows the theme of Jhin, where
nothing makes sense.
He's a little bit crazy.
How can a grenade dance?
If you throw it right.
Yeah.
How does it get stronger when it kills things? Like, if you throw a grenade and you're able to bounce it, like in an action movie, how does it propel and get stronger as things die?
Does it explode 4 times?
I don't think it explodes. I think it just bounces. I think he throws an empty canister of a grenade.
Well, that's just rude.
He's littering on the minions.
This is awful.
I mean, he is an assassin. I think that's probably the least of his concerns.
He's a virtuoso.
Ah, yes. An artist. Whoa. Gate going very deep for the ward is going to be snared down. Kiwikid will be able to answer back and clear out that standard vision. As you can see, the fans currently thinking NRG are the favorites in this series by 9%.
Yeah, that's actually a little shocking there. P1, though, they do have an advantage. That turret did not go down in the bottom lane for NRG, and P1 had just won the previous set, and you know that's got to be weighing a little bit on NRG's confidence. You come off a loss like that where you were ahead. People talk about you have to get it out of the way and say, okay, you know, we had an advantage, that's what matters, and just closing it out is the next step. That's fine. But they spent 30 minutes trying to close it out, and they failed. They spent longer trying to close it out than they had. Then it took them to actually get that 10k gold advantage.
Phoenix1 finally released the siege on the minions in the bottom lane, the freeze on the minions in the bottom lane.
Yeah, this jungle is theirs.
Mash continues to play with Inori. Cocoon finds Mash. They're trying to teleport in. He flashes. There goes the curtain call. Here comes Kiwikid. Flashes for the slow. First blood picked up by GBM. Inori's running from the far side. There's the disengage. A huge 4-man knockout, but Gate drops to Santorin despite Zig's snare. Cocoon is going to find Zig, but he'll be able to get out. 2 quick kills once again for NRG.
Yeah, and NRG even up the gold there, and they're pinging that bottom turret like, let's get this thing. It's been taunting us the entire time, 38 HP. And Inori picks up the smite, gets the wolves.
Yeah, he's going to see that they're finally going to be able to take this turret on that bottom side, controlling this side of the jungle. Blue buff is even going to spawn, and denying that to a Cassiopeia could be pretty instrumental, but Pirean looks like he wants to fight for it. Ping's now going down.
Are they going to try to rush this because they know they want to kill the turret? If they can rush this down, I mean, they both have ultimate still. They didn't use it in the previous fight.
Turret's already dead. Kiwikid is the first target. Petrifying Gaze. He's going to be able to get some big damage. Pirean catches up to Kiwi and does so much. Onslaught of Shadows, 4 style points.
Yeah. Kill some spiderlings on the way out, you know.
It's like 45 gold.
It's the little things. But yeah, uses the ultimate there afterwards. Really, the grounded there was the big thing because you can't jump away. Mash doesn't blow his flash to dodge the Cocoon. Of course, coming out of fog for him. Flash forward, ends up taking him out. And then the ultimate there, Gate had already blown his flash. And then, yeah, Pirean has to blow the ghost. Still has his Petrifying Gaze and doesn't really have an opportunity to ever use it, though.
Yeah, so once again, NRG off to a start with that advantage.
It's
win kills.
It's a little bit smaller now. That
yeah,
Infernal Drake that went over to P1 definitely helps them out almost across the board here. Like, you're going to have a lot of AD and AP on these guys.
NRG grouping up to try to take this Ocean Drake, but Phoenix1 are grouped.
Inori's
actually Pincer, but yeah, they decided to recall.
Yeah, Inori's back in base, so they're going to give it up, and it's just going to reset a whole bunch.
Ocean Drake picked up by NRG. And now 1-to-1 in Drakes, and Zig heads back towards that top side. So
Infernal next, so that could be the second Infernal for P1, which would mean a lot, especially with the composition they have.
Once again, Phoenix1 not quite willing to overcommit to any hyper-aggressive plays. Don't want to take any chances, and are much more content to just wait it out. Zig runs all the way from mid lane towards top for 3 minions, as OQ is going to be able to catch it up. And they're continuing to farm it up. So we are seeing Mash, because of that early freeze, he does have a mild CS lead ahead of OQ.
And this top lane as well. Quas over Zig. Level advantage, and there's a gigantic wave on the bot side. So Zig not going to be able to actually pick up that. Goes over to Mash, and they really want this mid turret because they see that the side waves are being pushed out. If they could just jump on GBM right now, Inori has the ultimate. GBM would have to react.
He rushes forward. Onslaught is going to find GBM. He's knocked into the Petrifying Gaze. It's 2 members that get the kill, but 5 members are grouped up.
A lot of summoner spells burned there. That was the ghost from Inori, but also both out of GBM, and they get the turret there. Phoenix1 with 1 swift strike get so much off of that.
Very confident decision to dive that turret and pick up the kill, evening it back up.
It was honestly the best play they had because their side waves had been shoved out. OQ was farming top, Quas was farming bot. You knew his TP wasn't up because he tried to use it in the previous fight. So dive GBM, and it's on GBM at that point to really just recognize that that is a possibility that can happen to him.
Yeah, and that's the sort of play that Phoenix1 would more than hesitate to make, would not have made just a few weeks ago. So already adapting to having Inori in the roster and showing that they can be a little bit more confident in their decision-making.
Yep, pops the ghost, ulti, GBM flashes backwards, but he gets stunned still by Pirean. And then the E had already made contact. You're going to get knocked back even if you flash or use some type of movement ability. If Hecarim has already started the E animation, or at least the hit part of the E animation where he lifts his feet off the ground. So it'll happen sometimes. Even if he had flashed, he may have still gotten hit back towards Cassio.
Instead, that's going to be minor advantage for Phoenix1 as they pick it up. Still very even in this game. 1 Drake to 1 Drake, 2 kills to 2 kills. Phoenix1 barely ahead in turrets because of that mid-tier 1 they were able to take. As Santorin will continue to clear out his side of the jungle, Phoenix1 have got the scaling composition. They can continue to look for these rotations, look for the aggressive picks. They could continue to look for an advantage.
Yeah, they scale really well, especially their support too. Like, I would take a Zyra every time if I wanted something to scale from the support role. Once she gets gold and once you start hitting those 6 items, she actually becomes pretty much another mid laner. But you have to worry about some of that magic resistance because you know NRG are going to stack that. Mash, on the other hand, going to go for the flat penetration. So you have to build some armor, maybe 1 item. Pretty much, I think Quas would want to stack MR and then purchase a Thorn Mail. Air GA, and that would pretty much be his build.
Santorin is going to greed for the turret. Strangle Thorns is dodged.
Kiwikid.
Oh, Inori goes in. Kiwikid drops. Pirean is going to get the kill, and now Quas is separated. He gets 1 in answer, but that's already 2 of NRG dead. They should be able to pick up Quas. 3 kills for Phoenix1 for only a turret and 1 kill for NRG.
And Phoenix1, they've been scrimming with Inori. They've been talking about how this guy changes the whole dynamic. It seems like when Inori's on the lineup and he's on something like Hecarim, he's like, go. And that's when they all just rush forward. Pirean blowing summoner spells, walking forward, making sure that he's part of this fight, and throws out the ultimate there. Gate almost goes down for the curtain call, but they don't get a turret because of it.
Yeah, Gate takes a big hit as OQ's able to defend with that curtain call. The tier 2 is still standing. Here's that fight once again.
Inori from the side. Mash isn't here yet, so it's another fight where Mash is off on the side. Gate does a great job, throws out the ultimate. The very bottom of it hits Kiwikid, and then Inori goes straight in. GBM gets hit by the ultimate because he is forced to face after the fear right into Pirean. And he had used the ultimate on the cluster of people for the damage. And the fact that he's facing him is just icing on the cake there. So GBM gets absolutely annihilated. And now Pirean's 3-0-2. Cassiopeia, that's really what a Cassiopeia wants. That 100% kill participation, 3 kills early on. Can't ask for too much more.
Down just a bit in CS, but already has the Archangel's staff stacking up a lot of mana. He's already up to 688, so that's going to be transforming very quickly.
Yeah.
And with the Abyssal and soon to be a Ryze, he will hit his core tank items. Well, tanky items. Cassiopeia's tanking, you're doing something wrong.
Well, or the other team's doing something right.
Oh yeah, well.
You know.
It's all a question of perspective. But Infernal Drake going to spawn in 15 seconds. Phoenix1 trying to fight over vision. Double teleport available for the top laners. As both teams definitely want this Infernal Drake.
Not just to have it, but to stop P1 from having it is one of the reasons that NRG want it.
Yeah.
Like, having double just makes this gold lead that they have so small, but it's going to mean a lot more because everybody on this team wants the stats that they get. Because most supports are like, oh, 8%, you know, AD, AP, not a big deal. It's like Zyra's like, yes, please and thank you. I will take that buff.
Zig is actually split from his team right now. He's over by the banana bush. Oh, curtain call goes down. Pirean's able to secure it. Gate takes 1, 2, 3, 4 hits and is solo killed. But Phoenix1 are going to try to collapse and pick up a few kills in answer. Zig, as mentioned, separated, will die. That's 2 kills for an Infernal Drake.
Yeah, P1 though, if they don't lose anything more, then it could be worth it. But right now, that middle tier 2 and the pings onto the Baron, got to worry a little bit.
Oh, and Inori! That was a very greedy place to be. Forced to use his ultimate to escape. Oh!
Well, now they know that his ultimate is down. It gives him a opportunity to even consider the Baron here for energy, but I don't think they're that strong that they would do it.
Oh, Mash dodges a hefty amount of this initial damage as Pirean eats a cocoon. The wave is cleaned up, and Phoenix1 are able to hold.
Yep. And OQ, big part of why that fight went the way it did. He was able to pick off Gate, and I love this build from Jhin. When I first heard about it, I wasn't completely convinced because crit and attack speed scale so well. But we'll talk about that in a second.
Whoa! Kiwi's taking a lot of damage from the Baron, and Ignite is ticking down, and Nori
can't get to him.
Yeah, can't chase up.
But yeah, the fact that there's flat armor penetration across the board here for OQ. His call went off, and he was able to get that extra gold, but the Youmuu's, and then next is going to be a Duskblade for him. But let's have another look at this. Shot number 1. Shot number 2 doesn't quite. Shot airborne. 500 damage off that 4th hit. The fact that Jhin automatically crits on his 4th shot of his ultimate and also of his just every 4 shot.
Yeah.
He doesn't always have to buy critical strike chance because it's only going to affect 3 out of his 4 hits, right?
Mm.
So he basically has 25% crit chance all the time. Why not just make those crits hurt a lot? So he ends up going for the flat penetration. When he has Duskblade, he'll honestly be critting people for upwards of like 700. It gets pretty ridiculous.
We'll see if OQ can demonstrate the damage of that Jhin over the course of the game. Baron is up, and NRG are currently fighting over vision. While Inori runs around Gate grouped up with Pirean right now. He's got the Stranglethorns on cooldown, so should be able to disengage if anyone tries to force anything. But Zig split pushing on the far side of the map. He's also completed his Seraph's Embrace, along with Rod of Ages fully stacked. So Zig has hit his core damage items on those two. We'll see if he decides to go for a Void Staff in addition, whereas Pirean still working towards that Ryze. Even in kills right now, even in gold. Completely different change of pace from game 2. They might have got out Kiwikid, drops the knock-up, Inori tries to go in. Teleport was now used by Quas. Inori gets knocked back. There goes a couple of bullets. Mash, ooh, he's able to dodge them. Oh my god! He was able to dodge the 3rd one, but not the 4th. Huge shot from OQ.
675. That last crit there, that's that build. If you hit a squishy, he doesn't even have his Duskblade complete. That is a single armor penetration item for himself. It does so much. That's the percentage increase that you get from Flat Pen. Flat Pen is a ridiculous stat, and Santorin's too far forward.
Whoa!
Collapse.
Zig is able to convert the kill with some assistance from Gate and Pirean.
I actually don't know if when you're grounded, if you can repel.
He's still trying to recall right now. There's the Subjugate Flash Bite. Oh, Zig is burning down. Zig is burning down. Oh, 25 health.
I think that got down to like 10. That was, ooh. Yeah, it got down to 11.
Oh, wow. So close, but Quas no flash. Greeting for the kill. Still 6-6 in kills. And here's that play once again.
Yep, TP starts coming through. Inori, instead of using the ultimate, actually just ghosts to get out. A little bit of a longer cooldown there. And then, woo!
Wow.
Destroys Mash. And you have to be wary of that. Now that Duskblade is completed.
That's going to really hurt. So it's 90 seconds for that third Infernal Drake to spawn. Phoenix1 definitely going to be looking for that. They're actually going to try to collapse onto Kiwikid. There's a culling. He turns around for some damage on the gate, but gets cleaned up. Oh, once again, the curtain has been called, and Phoenix1 are going to have to stand in a line.
Get behind Inori. He's like,
ooh. Trying to lead the hitbox, but not quite able to get it. Meanwhile, GBM was split pushing in the mid lane. He takes down that mid tier 1. So, kill for turret.
Yeah, might be looking at baiting the Baron here, but that's not your Scuttle Crab. That's Energies.
Yeah.
Bottom lane turret, though, Zig is going to be able to take this one. It actually got weakened. Remember all the way back when there was a faster lane swap from P1 and they pushed this out and had Zyra level 5 and OQ was still level 2 or 3. So, use that advantage. Now they pick that up, and this will be Infernal Drake number 3 if P1 are able to pick it up, but even in gold right now, so
yeah.
Both teams will be looking for the fight if it's honestly what they want, which I think you would want to stop P1 from getting it, and P1 definitely want it, so.
Oh, yeah. Zig currently running around that side of the map, giving some old assist pings, and Quas, NRG now pinging it. Almost as if they've just remembered that that thing's on the map as well. As 5, they rush down to this side of the map. Phoenix1 actually just recalled. That means NRG have got the fast track. Zig could be setting up for a flank just like he did.
But Mash was like, Mash was waiting for red buff.
Oh, and the Infernal Drake is going to go down. NRG are able to burn through its health so quickly. Zig, oh boy, decides to turn onto Quas. Inori over the wall, gets a huge fear. They can't quite follow it up. Gate ghosts along with Pirean. Flash snare. He's going to find Quas. There's a Stranglethorn. The bullet is going to go down as GBM finally gets it. Bullet number 4 finds Pirean. He's dead. Now it's 3 versus 4. Snare finds Inori. 4 versus 2. Flash repel. He's going to try to catch up to Mash. There's a slow along with the chilling smite. That's going to be 4 members of Phoenix1 dead.
And the game looked so good for Phoenix1 with their Drakes, both of the Infernals. They wanted that third one. Mash started waiting for the red buff. I don't know what he was thinking. And then he comes in late, and all of P1 still engaged, which would look like a 4v5 at the start. And now NRG gets to go on the Baron and pick up another lead for themselves.
Yeah.
In the mid 20-minute mark.
Baron secured for NRG. All 5 members get it.
Yeah. OQ was really big in this. And you can see, look at where Mash is on the minimap. He's all the way back there. Zig, he catches someone, and then they push back Quas, and then they all start running forward. Gate flashes. Gate gets Viktor ultied, gets killed, and really, Mash gets to use his culling ultimate, gets slowed, doesn't get to do anything, throws a W back, and then he gets blown up. So all he got to contribute was very little. Gets smited. And P1 should not have actually gone for that fight at that point. Mash finally gets his red buff that he so desired.
Yeah, greeting just a little bit too hard for it. But NRG have been in this situation before. They had 25 minutes of practice in game number 2 of trying to break through Phoenix1's Cassiopeia defense. This time, though, they've got a little bit of a different composition,
Yeah.
so we'll see if they can try to break through this.
I think their siege is much better this game as well. I think that because they have the Viktor as opposed to the Ryze, their wave clear is better. They get to come towards these turrets and use the Lich Bane and pop them. And Jhin, OQ on Jhin right now, looking pretty good. So he can just set up his curtain call. He can get some poke damage down. They can start the engage that way. So NRG have a lot of great ways to start these fights now, where before they really didn't. And the siege from NRG is just particularly good too.
Mash did shove the far side, pretending he was a top laner for a moment, which means Quas can't quite go for the 4-1 split just yet, as he has to build that wave up. GBM's actually on that side of the map as well, so this might be the next objective for NRG, that top tier 2 turret. And NRG grouping as 5. They're not even going to try to split, despite the fact that they have teleport. Might just try to break it down the old-fashioned way. I think Inori showed himself. I believe they know. Oh yeah, there's even a ward in that bush now. For Phoenix1. There goes the curtain call. Bullets are going to hit Inori. Pirean takes one. And the fourth bullet
That poor
misses.
plant.
Yeah. Just quails over in terror before going down. NRG, don't know if they want to dive, but they are setting up for the siege. Going to try to break this down as the miasma from Pirean slows the minions. They burn through it with some help from Mash. Quas waiting in the wings.
Yeah, they're going to poke out though, and like I said, much better reach here with the Viktor.
Oh, Pirean is snared.
Yeah. And OQ also having the Jhin, the Deadly Flourish, as well as the Curtain Call to poke them out, and yeah, Baron buff's going to help them pick up this turret in just a moment here, as soon as they get another mini wave to walk up and deal the damage.
Yeah, Phoenix1 decide to seed it. Don't want to take any chances with Pirean at half health, so that's another tier 2 taken for NRG, and with the third one GBM took earlier, that brings us to 6 total. They just now running out of that Baron buff, so rather effective use of it this time. Not able to break the inhibitors just yet, though.
Yep. And that's the tricky part for them. Getting those inhibitors and then getting towards that Nexus. Gigantic wave bottom for Quas. He's going to be happy with that. But overall, though, the goal is like honestly on the people that you want it to be on for both teams. Pirean and Mash have gold. And then you have GBM and OQ. It's just who's going to use it better in these fights.
Ooh, curtain call finds Pirean and Gate. Bullet number 4. Ooh, flash dodge by Pirean. He doesn't even want to risk it. But once again, NRG with an advantage. Getting the Baron buff, even in Dragons. We'll see if they can break through Phoenix1's base, or if Phoenix1 are going to show us hero defense round 2. Cloud Drake is spawning in 20 seconds, and the pressure is on both teams to secure that, as this is going to be the last Elemental Drake before Elder spawns.
It's true. I mean, if you're P1, you kind of don't want to take it because you don't want Elder to really spawn just yet.
Yeah.
If you're NRG, you want to take it. That's one of the things where when I'm a team that's really far ahead and Cloud Drake spawns, I actually don't want to take it because I don't want there to be a better Drake to spawn for my opponents. So you just leave it there, so there's never a chance of an Elder Dragon steal or anything like that. It's like, take out all the possible great objectives they could steal.
Deny them as much as possible.
Yep, but NRG take it because they want to have control, try to snowball.
Ooh, just outside the volatile Spiderling range. But 34.5 minutes in, NRG 3 Drakes to the 2 of Phoenix1. Minor gold advantage. Still fairly even in items. As you said, that gold distributed rather comfortably on the carries on both teams. Baron's up in 80 seconds, and NRG setting up some deep wards on the Phoenix1's red side of the jungle. They might try to collapse here. Snare is going to find Inori. There's even a subjugate from Quas. Remember, there's no tier 2 as it was dropped a few minutes ago. Zig still looking for the flank, as usual. Not quite able to find it this time, though.
Baron in 50 seconds, and that's what these teams are pushing up the waves for. NRG trying to keep the waves on P1's base, on their doorstep, and P1, they really just want to push it out. They have no vision of that Baron area except for the Scuttle Crab that's theirs, and will it expire before? Yeah, it's going to expire right before the Baron comes up, so it's not going to help them out, and they need to get back there and actually re-establish vision inside the pit and around it.
Yeah, some very optimistic recalls. Phoenix1 getting a few deep wards and seedlings, so they will get some vision on this side. And grouped as 5, this could be the location of our next big fight. Double Infernal versus single. That blue buff is getting pulled so far away, and Inori actually fights to use it. He gets snared and locked down. GBM pulls him in. They could try to burst him down. There's the curtain call. Phoenix1 bit off a bit more than they can chew as Pirean. Summoner Heal is used. Gate gets chunked low, but Flash is out. Zig is going out, but GBM is burning down. Shield keeps him alive while Mash zones Santorin away.
Wow, OQ gets the root. Inori is forced away, has to use the ultimate. And now they're chasing him down. Gate almost dies as well. The curtain call hitting Pirean and chunking him out too. But Zig stands his ground, almost kills GBM, so GBM is forced back. And there's a TP. They're trying to get Mash and Zig.
He's going to collapse in, doesn't have any home guard, but Mash, he sees the troll.
Oh, and he goes down.
Oh, man. Looks like Quas is going to catch up. Zig is caught with the flash cocoon.
Where did he go? Where did Mash go? What? They didn't know you were there, Mash.
Oh, he's actually behind the tier 2 right now. Dodges the snare. OQ misses the deadly flourish, and Mash with the Yomus and an escort from Inori is going to escape, but it's 5 versus 4 right now.
Straight to the minion wave, like moth to a flame. And the question is,
NRG are running top. They're cutting off his means of escape.
Yeah. So they're not going to be able to catch him, though. He's going to back.
Yeah, we'll see what NRG try to do with this advantage. Looks like it's going to be Baron number 2 for them. Inori has got his onslaught and the smite of his own, but he's down a level.
Yeah, there's... He's going to try to pull Santorin on Santorin. Can he do it?
Oh, he hops over, but it's not going to be secured. Inori goes down.
Yep, secured there by OQ. And that looks like it may have been a final shot from him as well.
Yeah, 38 minutes in, NRG with their second Baron. Wow.
I'm going to look back at how big that crit was because... I believe it was 938.
Holy cow.
And that's more than the smites of both junglers. So he crit it for 938, and Elise's smite, who is a level up, is 800.
Oh my gosh.
So there was not a chance.
So the Raptor that he just hit with the last auto took 1,413 damage.
Yeah, this is the build that's all about that 4th shot. So he has the Infinity Edge to increase that crit. He has the armor penetration to increase it even further. So armor penetration for this build is almost like % crit increase because he has a guaranteed crit on his 4th shot. And now he's going to go for just a little bit more crit to try and round out the build, get himself a little bit of that extra movement speed.
So despite having the Baron buff, NRG currently are, there they go, finally 4-1. Curtain call is going to find Pirean.
Oh boy.
Ooh, but he makes it out of range. Yeah, 4th bullet is going to miss. Zig in the top lane with his teleport eventually is going to have to deal with Quas, while the rest of NRG, they might just be able to break this inhibitor with Pirean zoned away. Kiwikid trying to keep them separated. It's chunked to half, but the inhibitor turret is still standing as the minion wave gets cleared. Flash traded for Flash.
Yeah, the Cassiopeia flash for the Braum flash and ultimate, though. And Zig had to back. He was clearing out the top wave, trying to make sure that they couldn't rotate there and use a gigantic wave. But speaking of gigantic wave, this is a big one down here on this bottom side. A lot of caster minions that need to be cleared out, and that's both bottom and mid here.
Yeah, pressuring both turrets at once, and Ori gets chunked out. OQ manages to get a kill on the far side.
What?
Not entirely sure how that worked out, but that means they're able to shove forward and take the inhibitor. Zig gets caught in a snare. His Guardian Angel has been popped. There's a gravity field. He hasn't got a flash. He hasn't got a chance. OQ is unstoppable. With 2 members of Phoenix1 dead, Are NRG going to try to push to end the game, or are they going to make us wait a little bit longer?
I feel like you have this Baron for a little bit longer. You have 2 cannon minions. You start to end the game. You try to get revenge.
They're shoving forward. Pirean dodges the onslaught of damage. There goes the curtain call. Pirean takes 1 bullet. Inori is going to try to block in front. Pirean so low.
Bullet 4 hits him. 1800.
Oh, man. GBM is going to get another kill as well. The Nexus turrets are going down. Though Gate respawns, it is not going to be enough. 5 versus 2. NRG are going to take the Nexus. Oh, they're having a bit of trouble, though. Finally, they're going to take it. Yeah, NRG take the Nexus, and they take the series, beating Phoenix1 2-1.
And Phoenix1 still have no series wins. And NRG was a team that, if they were going to do it, they were going to do it here. Still near the bottom of the standings, bringing Inori in, man on your screen right there. It made some difference. They actually had much longer games here. And NRG, at the end of the day, it is that series win. Regardless of how long it took, you still get that 1 extra point in that category, and they needed that to start climbing back up in the standings.
They definitely did. They have been going through some trouble for the past few weeks, but finally able to take that series win, bringing them up to 2-5 in the standings. Phoenix1, as you can see, they played remarkably well over the duration of that match. Very close game 2, keeping even for a significant majority of game 3, but just not quite able to convert it into the series win. And NRG, some very relieved smiles after a long huddle. Definitely well deserved.
Yeah. It's a big sigh of relief there after you play almost about 2 hours, 2.5 hours of total gameplay.
There's nothing quite so tragic as having an advantage for 50 minutes and then losing the game.
Yeah.
And then having to go into game 3.
Well, it was also a very stressful beginning because they didn't get that bottom tier 1 turret after the lane swap.
Yeah.
So you're going, did we mess it up? Did we mess up the whole game? And ultimately, they got some good fights. They got some great picks. OQ on fire with that Jhin build.
Yeah.
Even after the Youmuu's nerfs, it's still a fantastic build to go with.
Really showing some incredible stuff. He has been under some flack recently because of his performance, and he's even admitted that he's been having some trouble.
He's given himself flack about it because he's like, I am not performing the same way that I did when I was in Korea. I really need to step it up, and even apologized to his fans saying, this is not what I'm capable of. I haven't shown you guys yet if you're an NA fan, so sticking with it. Believe in me. And OQ, I think he did show up today.
Yeah, NRG, they've still got a lot of good to take away. I mean, they had advantages for most of game 2, a lot of game 3 as well. So we're still starting to see some growth from them, and that has been what we're looking for. We know that they are individually skilled. It's just been the team play they need to sharpen up.
Yeah, the team play, and now that they have that roster, we talked about it, how Inori came in. They looked a little bit better there. They looked more decisive. They're getting some leads, right? They're getting leads early. They're playing the lane swap a little bit better than even NRG. And then it's just using that lead to do something more.
Yeah.
So they're trying to play through mid lane. Sometimes it messes up. They made some great plays where they dove like GBM, but it's the next step. It's figuring out what to do. Because right now, the plan for Phoenix1 seems to be, all right, we got an advantage. Let's keep doing the Drakes. And they just keep doing that and doing that and doing that. And then the Drakes aren't enough of an advantage to win you the game. Right? They just flat out aren't. Like you're going to be like, oh, I have 3 mountain. It's like, no, we just saw it doesn't win you the game.
Yeah.
Right? This one, it's like, all right, we have multiple Infernals. It's like, no, it's not going to do it.
You have to actually be able to use those Infernals. But after all, it was a great series from NRG. Now, before we go to Dash, let's head down to the